Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm David Reichert. Today we're going to take pine cones and make some wonderful Christmas decorations. Stay tuned. So first off, you're going to pick up some pine cones or buy some. If you pick them up out of the yard, bake them in the oven in a tinfoil pan covered in tinfoil. I do mine at 350 for about 40 minutes. Some people do it at 200 for 30. You just want to bake off all the critters and make sure you don't have any live critters. Um, Paint your little styrofoam balls with Mod Podge, matte, not gloss. And you can use any size styrofoam balls you want. These are 1 inch and I think ½ inch. I do two different sizes. After they're dry, paint them. I use the little pouncer. It's easier to use than the paintbrush. Spray paint your pine cones, let them dry really good. I use the hammered metal, and I can't remember who it's by. It has the trigger bottle instead of the can. And once you get those dried and pick you out some that match, if they're not flat on the bottom, it's fine. You want to aim them away from each other so that they're kind of wedged together. Or you can do it where they turn the other way. It makes the beard kind of curve. I do use some hot glue, and I use that Tight Bond, I think it's called. I like that glue a lot, and it works really well. Your hot glue is going to be a temporary hold, and it'll give that other time to dry. You can use wood glue, but this is cheaper than wood glue, and it works just as good. And once you get it put together the way you want it, let it dry for a few moments, or cool, I should say. Um, you want a bamboo skewer in that styrofoam ball. You can sharpen them in a pencil sharpener, and that way you can keep using the same stick over and over. I use that Loctite. What is that? I can't remember what it's called. And I didn't show the bottle, did I? And a little hot glue, not much. You don't want to melt it. You want that bamboo skewer to get a good hold and not be loose or fall off. And I didn't show where I clipped. I took those side cutters and I clipped one of those pine cone seeds off to make room to get that nose in. We're going to make some gnomes, in case you're wondering. I'm on a gnome kick right now. I'll show you what this yarn is in a minute. I think it's called Yarn Bee. It's a real soft yarn, and it's fluffy. I will tell you, when you cut it though, the ends are going to have loose bits. Go ahead and pull that off, because if not, you're going to catch them on the glue gun, and you'll see me do it in a minute. And then I had little bits of that stuck to the glue gun, my fingers, the table. You can use any kind of, there it is, Yarn Bee, that's what it's called, sure is. You can use any kind of trim, really. But I wasted the money on this ball just for it to be trimmed for some Santa Claus gnomes I was going to make. And this is just, what is this called? Macrame thread, macrame yarn, or macrame string. I'm not sure what it's called. And on this one, I'm tying the ends like crochet end, where, you know, you're getting ready to start crocheting, so that I wouldn't have to tie it in an actual knot. I figured it would be easier with my big fingers. It was in a way, but it also wasn't easier in a way because I didn't get it down in there very good. But we're going to cover that up anyway with your little ball on the top, so it's not really going to matter. And I'm going to put a little drop of glue in there to make it not slide back open. And then we're going to take yarn B and we're going to go around the top and just go around it. And it'll look like a ball. If you want to break down and buy yourself some pom-poms, go ahead. Or if you're in a real crafty mood, you can make yourself some pom-poms. I would, but pom-pom making gets on my nerves, so you'll never see me do that unless you have to. Unless I have to. And you'll notice I'm not real crazy about hot glue. It works for some things, light, but for actually gluing something together to give it real stability, I stick with the glue. I have several different types of glue. I think I even ended up with that stuff on my lips. I was peeling it off of everything. And there's one done. I haven't figured out how to make a little girl gnome yet. Because if you're using that pine cone as the beard, what would you use for the hair? Anybody with any ideas, let me know. And I broke down and went into my little button stash from Amazon and got a little decoration out to put on it. You can put it on the edge of the hat, or you can put it up there where I did. I think I even put one at the top on one of them. Or maybe I did it on one of the clay things. Who knows? When you get my age, things just run together. All right, we're going to gnome number 2. And this pine cone has a real good curve in it for the beard. So however you, when you get it in there, it's going to curve out. It kind of reminds me of one of those little Santa ornaments that looks like a moon shape. Because that's about how far it was curved. And I think we're doing our Grinch gnome this time. I'm going to give you a little tip. Those side cutters there work really well with those thin bamboo skewers. But when you hit those thicker dowels, don't try to cut them with that. And what makes it sad is I own one of those molding cutters that everybody uses to cut dowels with. But I broke that pair of side cutters. The blade broke because I tried to cut the dowel that was too thick. And that's the second time I've done it, so that's what makes it so bad. But I had one more pair, so I pulled it out of the drawer, and here we are. So it goes to show you, even having proper tools can come in handy, but if you don't use them right, it's not good. And this time I've just tied it into a knot straight out and stick it in and glue it instead of going through all that. But that's two different ways you can do it. And there's your Grinch gnome. Just keep in mind that gnomes, like people, probably have different races and can be any color you want them to be. The first one was pink because I didn't have any flesh tone. And the ones I did a browner color were splotchy because I used a paintbrush, so I didn't use those. So they were kind of ugly. But the green painted up real good, and so did the purple that you're going to see, or lavender. I don't even know what color you would call that. I didn't look at the bottle. And there's number 2. That's your Grinchy gnome. If I had some green fluffy hair to put around underneath the edge of that hat band, it would have made it more Grinchy, but it's okay. And now we're coming to number 3. And I did not paint the bottom pine cone. It is plain. I wanted a brown beard, and that's how I used the side cutters to cut. There we go. And we're going with a purple nose. Looks kind of like a pine cone, doesn't it? I realized about the time I was doing this, I should have went back to Hobby Lobby and got some more of the Yarn Be Yarn that was a different color. They had other colors. But I bought 2 things of white because, well, I liked it. And I didn't think the other colors were very Christmassy. But now that I've got down to this one and did this one this color, I'm pretty sure that one of those colors they had would have went just fine. Oh yeah, this is the one. I got into a fight with this thing. You're not going to see all that, trust me. I've already cut that part out. By the time I got done with it, it was so lopsided, and oh, I think it was pretty much fighting back the whole way after we get to this part. At the end, you'll notice that the brim on this one is wider than it should be. That's because I went around it again with the yarn beads because something happened and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it would not stay. It wasn't, it kept coming, moving, and it wouldn't stay where it was supposed to, and it wouldn't stick it out enough. And on this one, I used the styrofoam ball as the top instead of the yarn be yarn. I still can't remember why I had to change and add another round of yarn beads around the brim. I just know I did. And I used not raffia, what is that called? And on this one I had made a pilgrim hat. I was going to make a gnome to go with it, and instead I put it on a pine cone. I hope this inspires you. Have a blessed day.